Hello, this is Pastor Charlie Avila, Clovis Christian Center, and I'm going to show you how to use this Roland 05 MP3 digital audio recorder. Okay, I'm going to take you step by step. We're going to look at all sides of this device, and it's really an amazing piece of equipment. This one is the R05. We're going to have this hooked up to our mixer there at the church so it can capture the audio from messages. We also have an R07, the latest one, very similar, just a newer model, has a little bit more protective ends on the corners, but anyway, we'll show a little bit more of that a little later in our video training. So today I want to take you and let's look at all sides of this digital recorder, and the first thing I like to do is look at the back. Okay, so in the back end, the first thing you're going to notice is these four little rubber feet that are on each corner, and that allows us to lay it on any kind of a surface and it'll stay in place very well. Even this table that I have here is an engineering table, and it's angled, so it's not flat, it's angled, and I can just set it down right on top of it. And I use this digital recorder. I don't need a sound man in the back. I don't need any sound mixer. I don't need anything, speakers or anything. I can just record everything using this. So I use this at funerals, at weddings, at baby dedications, to preach messages out on the street. I can record using this device. Okay, and I can just set it again, and those little rubber feet will hold it in place. If you'll notice, there is a female end here to screw in this piece of equipment to a tripod. Okay, so it has the same exact same female end that you find on cameras, or some video recorders also have this, so that you can just set it right on top of a tripod, screw it into place. We're going to see that when we get over to the sound mixer, and notice how it's screwed into the tripod there on our sound equipment. Also, if you'll notice that this back end here is replaceable, and it has this little push down rubber square where I can just put a little pressure on it and slide it off. You see that? You just slide it off like that, and it reveals the two AA batteries that this needs to run. So again, you just push down lightly on this and slide it down, and you'll see the two AA batteries. You'll notice that they are on the plus and minus are on opposite sides for each one. So just to remove the AA batteries, just pull up on this, take these out like that. And if you look on the inside here, you'll see the plus and minus on both ends, on top and bottom, but they're in opposite ends. The plus is over here, minus on the top, and over here it has it the opposite way, the plus and the minus. So just make sure you set the batteries in the correct way, and they just snap right into place. And then after that, you can just stick this right back on there and snap right into place. Alright, there is a battery indicator here in the front that I'm going to show you when we get over to that side. These three switches that you have here are settings that we already have in place. You don't need to touch those switches. They're already in the correct position for the proper recording levels. Okay, so you have the four rubber feet, you have the hook in here for the tripod, and then you have the case here that shows where the two batteries are. Alright, let's look over here on the other side now, and you'll notice that it has a USB right there on one side, a connector, and then it says phones for headphones on the other side. Alright, so you will not have to use this, but I'm just showing you the different capability. But you can get a one of these little cables that has the standard USB on one side, and then you have this little connector like you see on Android phones. It'll hook right into the side here where it says USB. You just snap it right into place, and then you could hook the other end to a laptop, computer. Of course, all the computers use the USB standard. What this allows you to do is you do not have to take this SD card that's in the back, and you can just read what's on this SD card by hooking this on into a laptop. So you turn it on, hook this in, and it allows you to read what's on this SD card without ever pulling this SD card out. We don't do that on a normal basis. We just take the SD card out, which I'm going to show you in just a minute, and put it in our computer. But I'm just showing you there's another way to read what's on here besides pulling this SD card out. Now, the other thing that it has here is for phones. So if you use a headphone, the stereo headphones, you just snap it right into place there like that, and you can listen to what you just recorded with headphones. You just put this on your ears. You can use these earbuds or whatever you have for a headphone, and you can just listen to it right there. So again, just pop it out and just snap it right into place. Okay, so you have the USB in and a headphone in on this one side. On the bottom, the only thing you have here is what we have for cameras, and you can put a little leather strap that goes through, or a thicker string that goes through, or a plastic piece that goes through. This allows you to put it around your wrist if you have a little leather strap, and that way you can hold on to it so it doesn't fall out of your hand, because this of course is a sensitive electronic device and you don't want to be dropping it. So you can have it where it can put like a leather strap through here and tighten it, and then you can hang it somewhere so that it's held into place and it doesn't fall. Okay, so that's all you have on the bottom end. Over here on this side now, you'll notice that there is a DC in. This is the power adapter. You can get an AC power adapter. This particular one, we don't have one. You can order one on Amazon, but you can hook up a power adapter, and that way you don't even need batteries. Okay, you can just hook it right to a wall outlet and plug in right here. If you'll notice right here, it says hold on one side, and on the other side it says power. And so this little slider, you just hold it down. When you're holding it like this, you just go down on this and it'll turn the power on. So if I just slide down, hold it for a moment, you can see it's starting to power up right here. It just takes a few seconds to power this up. So again, it just has a little slider. You slide it down and it'll automatically just snap right back into a center position. So it shows the display there. If you want to turn it off, all you do is hold it down again, and it even says there, power off. So very simple. Okay, so the power is on this side. Hold down for a second, let it go, it starts powering up. It takes just a few seconds for you to come up to your display screen, and you can read the information that you need on that screen. Okay, so hold it down again to power off. Alright, on the top you'll notice that we have two high-end digital audio condenser microphones. This is what captures the sound that you're recording. So if we set this digital recorder on a pulpit, it'll capture the speaker. It also captures any surrounding sounds. So if somebody coughs, somebody laughs, somebody claps, anything that people are doing, it captures it. And so you see these little mesh ends that it has on the top, and on the side here it has these little mesh ends for this microphone. It's a very high-end, very sensitive mic, and it recaptures in digital quality. So this is what is the real power of this device. You don't need a sound system. It's automatically capturing it for you, processing it for you, and recording it as an MP3 file. You will also notice here across the top there are two plug-ins. One is for a line in, and the other one, MIC, stands for microphone. Okay, so we're going to be using the line in over there on the sound mixer. When we get to that video to show you the hookup, that is what you're going to use. You're going to use an 1/8 inch jack, and you're going to plug into the line in, snap it right into place, and that's used to hook it into our sound system so it can record our messages. Okay, you can use a similar type connection over here for the mic input. Now this would be for example, if a singer wants to record directly into a microphone with no ambient noise, with no people speaking or talking in the background that it's recording, then you would use a connector that has an 1/8 inch on one end and a microphone on the other end, and you can plug it right into here, and somebody can actually record a song or at home or even in a studio, and you can just record it directly into here. But for our purposes, we don't use that. We record using the microphones here, and that captures all the ambient noise, all the noise in our environment, and good noise, bad noise, claps, whatever, it'll capture it. Okay, even if somebody coughs or sneezes, it's captured here. But what we're going to use for the sound mixer at our church is going to be this line in plug here. Okay, so those are the three things. You have the condenser mics on both sides, you have the mic jack on this side, and the line in input on the other. All right, now also something that you have here across the top, of course, is where the SD card. If you'll notice, there's a little lip right there on this. You just push up, and it's just a rubber flap here. You can just move it around, okay? And this holds the SD card. And all you have to do to get the SD card out is you just push down. You hear a little click, and it pops it out like that, okay? To put it back in, you just slide it back in this way, and it goes back in. There it is. Got it trapped there for a second. And snaps into place again like that. So push down, you hear the little snap, pull it out, and you just slide it right back in, and you snap it back into place, and then you put this rubber cover over the top and just make sure it's flush there across the top. That's it. So let me pull out this SD card again. It can only go in one way. Okay, if you try to put it in this way, it will not go in. Okay, it doesn't fit that way. It'll only go in with these gold connectors here on this side, because that's the way it's set up to only go in that one way. All right, so it snaps into place. You push it back down. Very easy to use. These SDs, these secure digital cards, they're originally created by SanDisk and Toshiba. They did a little consortium where they created this standard. It allows you to record photos, video, audio. We're using this one for audio recording. You can see this is a 16 gigabyte size SD card. They have them in 2 gigs, 4 gigabytes, 8, 16, 32, 64. The maximum that this electronic piece of equipment can hold is a 32. And I want to tell you that this is a very large amount of data for us for our audio files. In fact, right now on this video, this SD card, I'm sorry, we have probably 4 or 5 years worth of recording, and it's still not full. And so if we buy a 32 gig, that'll probably easily last us maybe 7 or 8 years of recording, or more, maybe 10 years of recording. So we don't need to be replacing these cards very often. You can record a lot of audio files, photos, and so on these. Now when you start using video files, that's a different story, because video requires a lot more storage capacity. If you'll notice right here, it has the little word lock, and it has this little slider, this little white slider here. If you move it into the down position, it is now locked. That means that nobody can record to it, and nobody can delete from it. So this would be really the only time you would want to use lock is if you're going to put this away in storage and you don't want anybody to accidentally delete anything off here. These are permanent files. You want to keep them in storage, so you put it in a locked position. But for our purposes, we always want it unlocked, so you just have it always in the up position. It'll always be in that position unless you move it down, and that will allow us to record to it and delete from it at will. Alright, so these are available anywhere on Amazon, on any place that sells electronic equipment. You can get it at Walmart, Best Buy, any place sells these SD cards. Alright, so once again, we're going to stick it back in here. It only goes one way, like this. Just slide it in, snap it down, and then put the rubber cover over on the top. Now you'll notice on this device down here, you'll notice that it has the same types of symbols that you would find on a DVD player or a CD player. Has a stop button that you can push here, has a fast forward and a rewind on both sides here, and then at the top it has the arrow for play, and then it has the double line there, vertical line for pause. So as you're listening to something, you can hit play and you can stop, and then even while you're recording, if you hit play and you start recording something, if you want to pause to answer a question, you can then hit this button again. It will pause it temporarily. You can answer the question or do whatever you want, and then if you hit play again, it'll resume recording right where you finished off. Okay, so that's the capability that this has. Let me go turn this on now, and I want to show you some of the different things that you see on the screen here. Alright, so if you look over here on the right, you'll see a little tiny battery. You see that little battery there? And that battery gives you an indication as to where this is as far as the power, how much power it has left on it. And right above it, it has 44K, and that shows you the bit rate that it's recording at. You don't need to worry about that. That's already been set. Across the top, it shows you the recording, so the name of your recording. So when you press this button down here, this red button for record, you'll notice that it starts flashing. And right here on the bottom, you can see that it says standby. You see that? It's saying standby back and forth. You'll also notice that as I'm talking, the left and right record levels are indicated. All right. What that tells you is that this is the level that it's recording at, and you can what you want to do is you want to make sure that this is kind of on this side, not the right side. If it's on the right side, you're recording, it's way too loud. So this is a good record level right where it's at. And if I press this button down here again, it's going to turn a solid color. So I'm going to press it, and now you see it turns solid, and now the counter is giving, telling you how many seconds, and it'll of course record minutes and even hours that you're recording. So the amount of recording you can do, of course, is limited by the size of your SD card, and of course we have pretty much unlimited recording capability with the SD card that we currently have. Across the top, you'll see the name of the file that it's recording right now. It says R05_0047.mp3. That's the file. So this particular device knows each time you record, it's going to assign it the next number. So the next one will be 48, 49, 50, and so on. And we can go in and rename the file once we put it into our computer, okay? But it's telling you right now it's recording. We've been recording now for almost a minute. Over here, the battery indicator shows that this battery is about halfway through. So right about this time, maybe we have one more message left on these batteries. Right about this time, you're going to want to think about replacing this battery. Over here, right above the 44 bit rate, you're going to see it says over 100H. It tells you that on this SD card there's over 100 hours of recording. That's just showing you how much recording is on the SD card. Alright, when we press this button and it turns red, right here on the bottom it has the REC for record going on. When we stop it, we were to stop it right now and I hit the stop button right here on the bottom, stop. You'll notice that it says stop here. There's no more recording going on. The counter has stopped. Alright, so that's the way to indicate that. Now if you just hit the button once again, it goes into standby mode, and this is the mode in which you can check the battery levels, you can check the input recording levels, and so that allows you to kind of see how everything is going. If it were missing the card, if this card were out, okay, this card, if it's out, I'm going to take it out right now. You'll notice that across the top it says no card, okay? And while this is on, you can put the card back in and it will work. But I always, when I'm dealing with electronic devices and I'm connecting electronic stuff back in, I like to power it off and stick it back in. Okay, so I'll just slide it back in again the right way like that. Snap it into place, turn it back on, and it should have a previous named message across the top. Okay, so it turns on, and sure enough it has a 1 Thessalonians message that I preached some time back. Alright, again, so if there's no card, it'll indicate that, and you can stick a card back in place there. If you put this on standby, alright, you can check your record levels again, you can check the battery level, but this also gives you a chance to deal with these buttons here, the increase, decrease on volume, and the input levels, okay? So let me explain that quickly. This volume setting over here does not affect our record levels using these condenser mics or if we were used any kind of input over here. This record level is for playback. So when you use headphones, when you use the headphones over here and you're listening to it and you want to increase the volume, you just hit the plus, 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 and it'll increase it. So right now, if I hit plus, you'll see it's going 41, 42, 43, 44, so on. As I'm increasing, or you can decrease it back down. We have it set at 40. However, the real critical setting is over here on input. Now you're not going to have to worry about that. It's already set. Our standard setting is 80 as an input level. You're never really going to have to mess with these buttons. But if for some reason these record levels here, if they're showing way over here, and even this little red light comes on, the red light is telling you that you're recording way too loud. Okay, if for some reason you're someplace and they're using very loud microphones or the speaker is very loud and the red light's coming on and these record levels are way over here to the right, then you're going to know that you need to lower the input levels. So if you hit the minus button, you can see how it's going down, 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 and then we're going to go back up now. I'm going to set it back up at 80, which is our standard level. You should not ever really have to worry about these plus and minus, these increase, decrease for volume or input levels. I'm just showing you how this works, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off by pressing the off button here. Okay. Once again, if I want to record, I hit standby. It starts the flashing. I press it again. Turns solid, it begins recording. Alright, at this point, if I want to pause, all I have to do is push down, not on this record button, but right above it, this little push in button here across the top. If I push it once, you'll notice it paused. It's still showing a record level, but the number, the counter has stopped, and notice how it's it's just flashing as a standby. If I hit that top button there again, it turns solid again and it starts recording again, 22, 23, 24, and so on. Pause at 27 seconds. I can field a question or answer something, and if somebody's like making an announcement and you don't want to include that in the recording, you can pause it, and then if you turn it back on again, just hit play again, and it starts recording right where you left off. That's one of the nice features about this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. Stops all the recording. There's no more record levels. It zeroes the counter back. If you look closely here, there's a find and a menu button. The rest of these buttons you're not going to have to mess with. They are already set. But if you go to the menu button and you hit it, you'll notice that you can do different things with to this device: setup, the display, the language, and so on. If you'll notice along the bottom here, there are 4 arrows: up, down, left, right. And so the way you control where you are is just by hitting like the down arrow here at the bottom. I'm just pushing this button down here at the bottom, and it allows me to move up and down on this. So if I wanted to check, for example, the date and time, I just arrow to that, and then I hit the record button as the enter button. Okay, so I hit enter, and it shows the date, so it's correct, 2018, when I'm recording this on July the 10th, a Tuesday, and it has the time. And so when we're set, just hit enter again with hitting the push button. There's also a finder button over here, and it shows you all the different recordings that are on here. Again, you can go up and down on this recorder, and at some point it'll reach where we actually have named recordings when I was preaching through the Psalms, prayer, different speakers that we've had preaching, and baby dedications, missions, anything we've done, it'll show that. So you can up and down, and if you want to select one of these, you again just hit the enter button here where the record is, and you can actually then play it by putting headphone jacks on, hitting play, and you can hear the recording to see how it came out. Okay, you should not have to worry about any of these. But I'm just showing you there is capability of using this device by itself. We always take out the SD card and put it in a laptop, and that way we can copy, delete, rename, and makes it a lot easier when you're using a computer and not having to sit here and push all these buttons on this device. Alright, so let's just review quickly what we did and covered. So we have the 4 little rubber feet to hold it in place. We have the screw in for a tripod. We have the batteries here, and just remember they're switch, one's plus minus, the other one is minus plus. Just snap it back into place. We saw a USB connector that can be hooked up to a laptop or a computer. The headphone jack is here. We have the place where you can put a leather strap here on the bottom so you can hold it to your wrist or hook it onto your bag or however you want to secure it. There's an AC, a DC in, line in adapter that you can use to a wall outlet, so you don't even need batteries. You have the hold power switch there to hold it in place, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it off right now. You have the 2 condenser mics that capture all the sound of a person speaking and the audience. You have the, let me just switch it over here this way. You have the line in and the mic input jacks here on the top. We again showed the SD card here. You just snap this back into place, even it out. And then we have all these control buttons down here for recording. All your display information will be here. Volume is only for your headphones, okay? It doesn't control the volume over here. The input is what controls volume through anything coming here through the top, okay? Through the mics, through the input jack and the line in jack. That's all being controlled by this input over here, plus or minus. We already have it set at 80. You should never have to change that, okay? It should be pretty standard how it's set. Alright, so that shows you how to use this really amazing little device that allows us to record MP3 audio files and allows us then to upload them onto our website so other people can listen to them. We can use those files then also to burn CDs for people. And so this is an amazing little device, and in our next video we're going to show you how to hook this up to the sound system as we do our whole sound mixer video recording. Okay, God bless you, and hope this video was helpful to you. Thank you.